Today, we're continuing our lesson by going over forms and surveys. We're going to create a demo form that we'll use in our calendar. The purpose of the form is to collect information before holding a demo with someone interested in our software. This could apply to any kind of form you might build. I'm going to cover the dynamics of how this works. First, go to the left-hand side and select Opportunities. From there, navigate to Sites. Inside Sites, you'll see a top menu that includes 3 interactive form options: Forms, Surveys, and Quizzes. Forms are typically longer, single-page forms depending on how many questions you include. Surveys display one screen at a time. Quizzes, a newer feature still in beta, are used to present questions like a quiz. Today, we'll build a simple appointment form to collect demo-related information and then look into how surveys work so we understand how to build them. These are the 2 types of forms we'll be using in the software. Once you click on Forms, you'll notice 3 sections: Builder, Analyze, and Submissions. Builder is where you create the form. Analyze shows stats on how many people have submitted the form. Submissions display all form responses. When creating a form, the first step is to create a folder to stay organized. It's always smart to use folders to manage your forms. For example, I'll label mine 01 Demo Forms in case I have more than one. After creating the folder, click on it and then add your first form. I'll continue with the same numbering system and name it 01 Demo Form. Naming everything properly is important, especially in this CRM platform. The form starts with default fields like first name, last name, phone, and email. I'll click on the first name field to show you that a settings panel appears on the right side. You'll see a label, placeholder, short name, and query key. Based on experience, the query key causes the most issues. The mistake people often make is modifying existing form fields instead of adding new ones. Changing a query key can break the system, so always leave it untouched. When I clicked the first name field, there wasn't a star next to it because it wasn't set as required. Once I check the required option, an asterisk appears, meaning the field must be completed before the form can be submitted. You can modify the label to say first name and the placeholder to please enter your first name. Avoid changing the query key or short label unless you're confident. If you want to collect both first and last names right away, you can adjust the width to 50% to fit both on one row. I won't go into styling just yet, as I want to focus on features first. If you make a mistake, use the Undo button to revert changes. On the left-hand side, there's a plus sign to add fields. Quick add items include full name, first name, last name, date of birth, phone, email, button, payment collection, products, address, city, state, country, postal code, organization, and website. These fields are core to the system and should not be altered significantly. This interface may change over time, but these essential fields generally remain stable. To add a field like last name, just drag it in from the left. Make it required by checking the option. To add a button, drag it in and customize it using the panel on the right. You can change the color to dark blue, update the button text to something like "Book your demo now," and add subtext like "Limited spots available." Customize fonts, alignment, padding, and colors for both the button and subtext. Now, let's cover selling products. You can add a product field to a form and remove it if needed. The Collecting Payment option includes donation and product sales. Standard fields like address, organization, etc. are system-used fields and safe to include. Text areas allow for single or multi-line input, and checkbox fields let users make multiple selections. If you add a single-line text field, you may notice odd default titles or messed-up query keys. This is why I recommend using custom fields instead. For multi-line input, drag it in from the left. Drop-down fields allow for single or multiple selections, and you can input choices under the Options section. You can also insert section headers or custom HTML, captcha to prevent bots, and source tracking to auto-populate data from external pages. Terms and conditions, as provided, aren't functional because you can't track user agreement. Instead, create your own terms and conditions field. You can assign a score to responses, upload images or files, and include numerical fields, date pickers, or signature fields. However, system-generated options often lack flexibility, so I prefer creating custom fields. For instance, you can create a custom number field asking, "What is your current audience size?" Assign it to Additional Info under Contact. Most automations will reference Additional Info. After saving, the field appears in the form builder and can be edited. Next, add a radio selection field asking, "Do you currently have clients?" Provide options like None, I'm just starting out, 1, 10, and 11, 50, then save. These fields appear on the left and you customize them on the right. Make fields required as needed. Add another field for business name by selecting Organization, updating the label, and making it required. The default consent checkbox is problematic because it's not recorded, which is essential when collecting phone numbers. I recommend replacing it with a custom field. Create a custom checkbox under Contact Info, label it something like SMS Text Opt-in, and paste in the required consent statement. Save it and wait for it to appear under the Contact section, then delete the original non-functional one. Include a general text field linking your privacy policy and terms of service for legal compliance. Highlight and link each section accordingly. If a user selects None for audience size or says they're just starting out, you may want to disqualify them using conditional logic. Set up logic to redirect them with a message like "Thank you." We will be in touch shortly after reviewing your application. You could also redirect to a qualified lead section if their answers meet certain criteria. Under notification settings, you can send an email to someone on your team whenever a form is submitted or set up an autoresponder to send the user a copy of their form responses. While these features now exist in the platform, we'll still create our own automations later to handle responses more flexibly. The form is now complete, so hit Save. You can explore additional options like styling and layout. Use 2-column, 1-column, or boxed styles. Customize line spacing, background, and colors. There are also pre-made themes and templates available on the right. Finally, configure what happens upon form submission. This may be overridden by any conditional logic you've implemented. Submit can either go to a redirect and order confirmation, or it can just show a message you deem appropriate. If you're using a form hosted on another platform like Wix or Squarespace and you want to pass a pixel event, you can. Then you can set the pixel event as a page view, submit application, or whatever fits the situation. This improves tracking for any form outside the native system. When teaching Facebook Conversions API, the focus is on doing it within the tool itself rather than externally. Form settings allow options like sticky contacts, which are not recommended due to numerous issues. Sticky contacts preset and add values inaccurately. Regardless of preferences, it's best to avoid sticky contacts because they often cause errors. GDPR-compliant fonts are only applicable in the Eurozone or regions outside the US. For users in the US and Canada, this typically isn't necessary, though Canadian laws might require it, so it's good to verify current regulations. After saving, you can preview the form directly. This preview shows what the form will look like live. If you want to embed this form elsewhere, such as a sticky sidebar, polite sidebar, pop-up, or inline position, you can generate custom code to insert into any compatible website. Copy the code and paste it into a code block on a WordPress site or elsewhere that supports it, and the form will appear as intended. If you want to link directly to the form instead, you can do that too. You might see something like linksarchitects.com. This becomes your form link, which people can fill out. Everything under the Integrate Form button at the top offers these capabilities. You can embed the form in various scenarios. each option generating different embed codes and allowing specific triggers based on your setup. Once ready, copy the embed code. In practice, when building forms, they are almost always placed within an actual website or funnel rather than being sent as raw links. It's more effective and looks more professional. Now moving on to surveys, which are very similar to forms. Just like the demos, you can create a survey titled "How Did I Do?" on the actual demo. Inside a folder, you can add a new survey and name it accordingly. Upon entering the survey builder, start with a blank slate. Begin by adding a question using a radio select option, for instance, to ask for a rating. An example would be, "How did we do on the demo?" with response options 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. After saving the first question, you can add another slide. Unlike forms, surveys allow one question at a time or multiple questions together. Add fields like first name, last name, and email. Sometimes the order might look odd initially, but you can rearrange them. Make all required, and then set up the submit function. Conditional logic in surveys is more limited than in forms. Instead of a visible conditional logic button, you'll find it on the right-hand side. For example, if someone rates a 5, you can disqualify or move them to the next slide. If they rate a 1, you can disqualify them after submit and trigger an alert for a manager. Just be aware that surveys allow only one layer of conditional logic. It works on a binary level, yes or no, and can only trigger a single redirection. For instance, in a mortgage survey asking if a credit score is below 750, answering yes might disqualify the user. However, the logic doesn't add up across multiple questions, so you're limited in how deep the conditions can go. In contrast, forms handle this better. You can add more questions and custom fields to surveys, tailoring them as needed. Although pop-up customization isn't as robust in surveys, you still have link and embed code options. Take the embed code and place it anywhere suitable. There are also calculation settings, though they often don't work well, and you can modify options like answers, just like in forms. Style options include themes, partial submission contact creation, and on-submit behaviors like redirects, messages, or disqualifications. You can add survey pixels, events, and adjust other settings. Survey settings include options for one question at a time views, one-page formats, auto-navigation toggling, scrolling behavior, time zone settings, and footer HTML customization. Many people prefer seeing a progress bar, which is only useful with multiple questions. It provides visual feedback and improves user experience. You can choose to attach it to the card or page, though the card attachment usually looks better. Button customization, background settings, and a wide range of miscellaneous options like branding, input labels, and custom CSS are available. The customization possibilities are extensive. Once completed, hit Save. Now your form and survey are both ready. Note that surveys don't display folders by default, but you can create one and move items into it for better organization. Quizzes are a newer feature. You can create a quiz and assign it to a folder, but they have limitations. The result is shown directly on the page, and you can't trigger automations from them. They are useful for basic interactions, and a demo might be done later, but for now, quizzes aren't essential when building a SaaS. That's how you do it. There's a 14-day free trial down below if you want to start building your own forms.